Hey guys, you're watching One and Only. My name is AJ, and we are back on another episode of Let's Build a City. Episode, what is it, 65? I think it's 65, yeah. And I've decided to speed up this episode for the main reason that it's just a really boring building. There's not really anything to commentate on while I was building it live. It's a square building, it's a sports hall. This is where there was the basketball, the basketball courts, and this is where we took all our exams and everything like that. And the building in real life doesn't really look that bad, but just in Minecraft, it's not the most entertaining building in the world, so I just thought speeding it up would be a lot more entertaining. It would look a lot better. But basically, the bottom half of this building was bricks, and then the top half of it was corrugated iron. And if you don't know what corrugated iron is, the easiest way is probably just to Google a picture of it. But basically it's like metal that is sort of wavy. I think it's the best way to describe it, like wavy metal. And obviously in Minecraft that's really hard to do, so I used clay as that's a very similar colour to corrugated iron, and then I put stone walls up against it. And it sounds really weird when I say it, but when I actually do it, which you'll see not too far away, it actually doesn't look that bad. It makes the building look a lot more interesting than just a really flat-sided building. But this is the final episode of our high school. I managed to finish everything off in this episode with all the benches and stuff that we'll see later on. At the moment I'm just rimming around the top and the bottom just to give it a little bit more depth. I was going to do it on that level, but then I decided no, I want to do it on one more level up, one half block up, so I can fit the full line of the stone walls in there, the cobblestone walls. Here they go, they're going. Now this makes me feel ever so sick when I'm watching this. While I'm commentating now and I'm going up and down, it makes me feel really, really sick. Oh, another thing, before I forget, the Sword of Alcazar series ended, as I'm sure most of you are aware. I know a lot of you didn't watch that. It gets about half the views of normal videos, which I'm fine with. It doesn't bother me. It's a great series, so if you didn't watch it for whatever reason, I really recommend you do, because it's a great map and I really, really thoroughly enjoyed it. But that does mean now that we have opened up a space for another series, in which I do already have planned, but I'm not going to say anything really about it. It'll be coming out, is it tomorrow? Let me just check. Is it tomorrow? It is tomorrow, yes. Tomorrow will be episode 1 of it, and I will tell you it's a creative series. It's another creative series, very similar to Let's Build a City, very similar to this series, which I'm sure a lot of you will be happy with, and it is something that you guys have asked for in the past. It's something that a lot of you wanted, so I'm excited about it. I've got a huge list of things I want to build on this new series, but you'll just have to wait and see what it is. Alright, so we're just putting the roof on the sports hall here. And I put some windows in the top here, same as what we done on the little art rooms and the tech room. I think it was last city episode, or not last city episode, but the last Let's Build a City episode that we were doing at the school, because I'm doing one at the school and one at the racetrack at the moment, aren't we? But yeah, I think the roof turned out really well. Again, this is the second sort of speed episode that I've done, and it's quite interesting to watch me do a speed episode, I think, because most of the time when we do a normal episode, I usually stay with you for all the interesting parts, but then all the boring parts that just take so long to do, I usually cut out. I've got burps, I'm sorry, it's really late at night, I hope you can't hear them. But it's actually quite interesting to watch on a speed build, so you can see exactly the sort of process that I go through when I'm building, and all the sort of testing work I do with different colours and different blocks and stuff like that. As you can see, now and again I'll stop and I'll back off and I'll have a look from a distance, and it ends up looking quite good. I think it's a good sort of way to improve your own building by watching someone else build. I get my inspiration from other people, and obviously my building techniques have changed over the past and everything like that, and it's all practice. People ask me, how do I get good at building? And personally, I don't really think that I'm that amazing at building. You guys seem to absolutely love the buildings, which is really, I'm really thankful. It really does mean a lot when people enjoy my builds. So yeah, thank you for that. But it is all practice, that's all it is. But now, anyway, we are going around the sort of perimeter of the field here, and I just put some saplings down, and they will grow by the end of the episode, which is great. Just to finish it off, putting down some soccer posts, or football posts as we call them here, soccer goals. And then in my field as well, we had a rugby, a sort of miniature. They weren't full size, but like a sort of miniaturized. We call it rugby here in the UK. You guys call it football in the US, American football. I think the rules are similar, but there are a few differences between rugby and American football. And then we're moving around to the side here. I'm putting some bushes down, just randomly sort of placing down the bushes, getting down some flowers, putting down some flowers and some weeds around these big trees that were on the perimeter. And I decided to raise up the goalposts 1 goals up, because it was a little bit low. And then what I'm doing here is just bone mealing around the outside perimeter of those trees, just to make it look a little bit more interesting when you look towards the edge of the field. You know, that's where the groundskeeper couldn't keep it trimmed at the edge there. He just sort of used to give up at the edge. It was just long grass and stingy nettles. Very, very dangerous place. It's very stingy if you were running in it. Night time again. I really hope on Xbox One that they put out a all-time day or all-time night, or at least be able to toggle between day and night, because it's very frustrating when you can't skip through the day if you want night time, and you have to get the bed out and sleep the night away to get it day again. It's really, really awkward. Decided to put some doors in. I wasn't really planning on having any doors anywhere in this build, but any doorways that were 2 blocks high, you know, the same height as a normal door, I thought, well, we could put a door in. But any blocks that were 3 high, I'm just leaving open. They don't look really too bad. And the way I do my sort of greenery, that sort of grass part, as you can see, at first I put down the fence, and then I would put down some leaf blocks and make a little bit of a hedgerow. And then what I'll do is I'll bone meal any other grassy area. It just makes it a little bit more interesting to look at. But obviously, I'm quite unlucky when I bone meal in the fact that I never get flowers. I only ever get weed, you know, the long grass. So then after I've bone mealed it, I'll then go over if it's needed, and I'll put in a few roses and a few of the yellow flowers as well, just to make things look a little bit more interesting. And sometimes I even put some ferns in as well, which are sort of my favourite plant. I actually get a lot of flowers doing that bone meal bit there. Put another door on the edge there. Oh, also, before I forget, a few episodes ago when we were building what was called the courtyard, some of you might remember the courtyard that we built, I was wondering what was in that building that I never knew what was in. There was a bit to the side there and I never knew what was in it, and I was trying to work it out and I never did work it out. Anyway, I got in touch with an old school friend to find out what it was, and apparently half of it were just offices, like staff offices, but then the other half of it was something that I completely forgot about and I've never mentioned, and it was the school gym, where we had the rowing machines and we had the weightlifting and the treadmills, rowing machines and the cycle machines and whatever you call it, and that was the gym. I never really spent too much time in there because we could choose, in our school, we could choose what we wanted to do for PE, so most of the time I chose football because it's sort of a little bit easier than working out in the gym. I wish now that I'd probably done a bit more gym, and I wish I'd done tried some other sports, really, like ultimate frisbee was a sport, in fact, that they used to try and make people do at high school. I don't know how frisbee can be ultimate, but I suppose any sport sounds better if you put ultimate in front of it. Okay, we're just coming towards the end here, really. I'm putting down this road. I decided to actually cut this road out, even though it's sped up, because putting down the roads is so boring, even when it's sped up 4.5 times the speed, which is how fast this is sped up. Okay, so the road is now in, and I'm just finishing off by placing down some more trees, which I also bone meal as well, just so I can finish it off completely and not have to worry about waiting for them to grow before showing off the finished project. And I do have a clip at the end here of a bit of a finished project. I think somewhere along the line I did miss out a little bit of greenery, so I do that as well. But I'm so pleased with how this high school turned out. When I was building the original school that's on the map, that we're sort of calling the primary school, the elementary school on the map, I thought that would do. I got stuck in the trees here. I found my way out. But when I was doing that primary school, elementary school, I always thought that it was a little bit of a cheat. It wasn't big enough, it didn't have enough stuff in it, it didn't have a canteen or staff rooms or anything like that. So when you guys pestered for me to build an actual high school, I really, really wanted to, but I just knew how much of a big task it would be. But I'm glad we've gone through the task. I know a few of you have lost a little bit of interest in this high school. A lot of you have stuck with me. In fact, 90%, 99% of you have stuck with me throughout this series, and you've kept your interest through this massive project of this high school, and I'm really thankful for that. And I must say, I have enjoyed this building, this little project, more than probably any other part of the map. I mean, I really enjoyed building the cathedral, but I didn't really do any episodes on that. And there's a few other episodes that really stand out for me, but as an actual project, and something that means a little bit to me, you know, I went to this school for 5 years, and it's nice to be able to sort of build it, and I think I've done quite well from memory. This is the part that I forgot, so I put some greenery down here. It's in real time. It feels ever so slow now, doesn't it, after watching it 4.5 times speed. When you're doing it in real time, it's like it's in slow motion. But it's nice to get it all finished. I'm really pleased, and you guys seem to really enjoy it. You know, you've enjoyed this project. You enjoy this series indefinitely, which is why I've increased the amount of episodes that go out of this series. In fact, is this a 9:30 one or is this a later one? This is it's just normal 9:31. No, there's no extra video to get today, guys, but there is a new series starting tomorrow, like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, and there is also another Let's Build a City episode coming out tomorrow as well. 2 videos again tomorrow, one at 9:30 PM time, UK time, and then one 2 hours later at 11:30 UK time. Again, I know that's a little bit late for the UK people, but the majority of the viewers of this channel are in the US, and I have to cater for the majority. But if you're in the UK, don't worry about it. You can always watch it the next day, before going to school, or after you've come home from school. It gives you something to look forward to, doesn't it? But anyway, we are there. I think on the map, if you were looking at the video, then on the map it looks really nice. It's really big, and when we're doing this sort of over the top shot, I think it looks really nice. But we're going to leave it there, guys. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and we shall see you in the next episode. Bye!